Hey everybody, welcome back to the Ask Me Anything travel series, and we're gonna keep right on rolling with our last topic, which is food. Aaron, you got me started on food, so this one goes out to you again, and we're gonna talk about eating out versus cooking on the road because it's impossible. It is literally impossible to eat out every single time. It doesn't matter if you're in Southeast Asia where a bowl of Vietnamese pho is 25 cents. Well, once again, you don't want to be eating the same thing every single day. You get really tired of that very quickly. And it's just, I mean, when you're traveling around a lot, the cost of restaurants will always be more than buying and making the food yourself. Always. I think that's just rule of thumb. Otherwise, restaurants wouldn't exist. So we don't do it here. You can't do it during a long travel stint as well. And just to give you some numbers, because I was really curious. So maybe going out, you would spend $20 on a meal. And $20 a day over the course of 365 days, $7,300. If you ate out every single meal for 20 bucks, that's almost $22,000. That's my entire trip over 2 years would be just on meals. We can't have that. That's impossible. You don't want to be eating out every single day. So how do you shop? How do you get food? How do you cook food? We're going to go into that today. So number one, when you start shopping abroad, is that you can't expect the big stores like we do here. We have really massive grocery stores. When you think of just a normal Kroger, Walmart, Publix, whatever store is in your area, they're huge, they're massive, and they carry everything. You can find everything in one of our grocery stores, and that is definitely not how the rest of the world does things. They're usually much smaller. Even in Europe, very, very small because they have a very old infrastructure. So those cities, they have to build with what they got. They can't take an entire field and make it into a Walmart. So you really have to go in with a plan. And that plan really is basing your ingredients, your recipes around very simple ingredients. And the one thing that everyone has, every single country has, is vegetables. Vegetables are the key to eating when you're abroad and cooking when you're abroad. So when you're thinking about recipes and thinking about stuff that you'll eat over and over and over and over again, you really want to focus on the veggies, and you want to focus on veggies everyone has. What are those veggies? Tomatoes, potatoes, sweet potatoes, cucumbers, some kinds of squash, lots of butternut squash all around the world. What else? Sometimes you'll get leafy greens like spinach and kale. That's not usually as common as, say, eggplants, those really hearty vegetables. Lots of potatoes. If you want to eat really cheap, learn how to make really good potatoes. But I get it. You can't eat potatoes every single day. It's a heavy starch, but you will get a lot of tomatoes. Everyone has tomatoes. Everyone has cucumbers. Everyone has eggplants, and lots of rice. So learning how to make really good rice dishes will save you on the trip. Believe me. Know how to cook your rice. Know how to cook with other bases like lentils. Lentils is really big in a lot of parts of the world, but lentils, rice, I think those are typically pretty easy cook times as well. Know those really well because you really want to be eating on utility when you're going abroad. Sure, I mean, when we go out to eat in a restaurant and the food's unfamiliar, I mean that's why we go to the restaurants, is the cooks know what they're doing with the local cuisine. Excuse me. They know what they're doing with the local cuisine, so that's when you really want to go to the restaurants and really experience that culture, how they serve it, when they serve it, all of that. But when you're cooking for yourself and you know that you can't eat every single day, you really just want to fuel your body because you're going to be walking a lot, going to be moving a lot, sometimes sleep deprivation. So really focus on those vegetables, really get into those bases, rice, lentils, and then eat all the potatoes, eggplants, tomatoes, cucumbers you can. One super quick, fast one, especially if you're in the Mediterranean area, Italy, Northern Africa, even Israel or Spain, all of those countries, the tomatoes and cucumbers are amazing. That's where a lot of the Mediterranean salads come from. If you just slice up the cucumbers and tomatoes in the thin slices, put some olive oil and vinegar, balsamic vinegar on it, and some salt. Oh, it's amazing. What a great breakfast. We ended up eating that a lot when we were in that area because they were so cheap and they were so good. So don't shy away from just eating straight vegetables. The stuff's really good over there. Which brings me up to my next point of, once again, I mentioned that there's not a lot of big grocery stores. So where do you get them? There's smaller grocery stores, but there's also lots of markets, especially in developing countries. You'll see a lot of markets, and the market culture is still really, really strong. And that is something that you shouldn't shy away from. It's a really fun experience, especially if a lot of the shopkeepers do speak English. If they don't, it definitely will be more challenging. You'll probably get ripped off a little bit, but the vegetable quality is still really good, and you can find a lot of the ingredients there. And a couple examples. In Athens, there's a huge fresh food market, and we were lucky enough to go there a couple of times. We went to Athens a couple of times, but one of them we went right near Easter, so everyone was Easter shopping, and they had all these lambs there, really fresh meat, some of the best vegetables that we saw on our trip, locally grown, and we got it for a couple euros. I mean, we got a week's worth of food for probably around 5-6 euros, which was insane, an insane amount of food that you can get at local markets. And of course, it's not as convenient. You got to talk to every other shopkeeper. You got to haggle on a price sometimes, and it's not straightforward. But don't shy away from it. That's what you're there to do, is to try something different. Another one, South Africa in Johannesburg. There was an amazing street market that had some of the freshest mangoes I have ever eaten in my entire life, and I miss them so much. But I was getting avocados and mangoes every day for probably 75 cents or something like that for a mango and avocado, and I would eat those babies every single day. So sometimes you can really, really find some gold in the markets. Don't shy away from the markets and getting all your vegetables, all your nourishment from these markets. That's what everyone else is doing, and they're still alive, so it's pretty damn good. And the other one was, let's see, I'm looking at my notes. Oh yeah, that's right. So definitely check out the vegetables. That's it. That's all that I had here was the small supermarkets in the market, the small supermarkets in the markets. And it really, I can't stress enough how much eating for utility it really, really matters, because once again, you guys have your priorities when you're traveling. You don't want to be spending a lot of time in the kitchen. You don't want to be having really complicated meals. You want to get out there, and you also want to be healthy. I know for life in general, but when you're on the road, your body is really taking hits on overnight and sleeping overnight in airports and on buses and not getting on sleep, getting up early, walking around constantly, getting new climates and biomes and more sun than you're used to, and different air, and getting mosquito bites, all that stuff really accumulates on you. So you gotta replenish yourself, you gotta refuel yourself. And the last real good tip that I have that really saved me in the last part of my trip, when I was staying in a lot of hostels. And if you are a hostel goer, usually hostels have really good kitchen facilities. I would actually recommend staying only at ones that have really good kitchen facilities, because that's part of the draw of a hostel, is the fact that you can cook there and not only save money on your accommodation, but save money on food costs, because you can actually prepare meals there. But with a lot of the kitchen facilities, there are really big, sometimes small. I guess I can't lump them all into one, but community shelves where travelers that come into hostels are usually passing through for just a couple of days. They're not permanent. So, and sometimes they buy way too much food. People are usually terrible about buying enough food, or they'll just buy a big bag of rice and then they're going home and they'll just leave it, and they'll leave it on the community shelf. And that food's all good and it's free. It's free. So don't shy away from the community shelves. I actually fed myself for about a month straight through Croatia, because I stayed in primary hostels and ate off the community shelf. People left big bags of rice that I would take with me. There was vegetables there when people were flying home and didn't use, and use it up. I mean, you don't want that food to go to waste anyway. So if you're in hostels, when you first show up, check out the community shelf. You might get a couple meals out of that and really save yourself some money while not putting more waste into the world, which is always a good thing. Okay, so to recap, I would say do not think that there's going to be a lot of big grocery stores. Once again, you can't eat out every single day. You have to go get food and cook yourself somehow, but it will be vastly different than the way that we get food here in the US. So look for your markets and look for those small supermarkets, definitely the ones that don't have a lot of signs and just are carts on the side of the road or sort of half underground with lots of shelves of vegetables. Those are all really good places. Don't shy away from the small stuff and get into those markets. Get into the markets for sure. Make sure your recipes are very simple and veggie focused. Veggies are usually not only the cleanest way to eat, but also they help fuel your body. They make you really healthy, and everyone has them. So you can use the same recipe in every country that you go to, knowing the fact that everyone's going to have some tomatoes and rice usually. And then also that community shelf, that hostile community shelf. Really, really use it up. Use them. I mean, you don't want that food to go to waste, once again. And you're a poor traveler, so eat away, dig into that stuff, and you'll be good to go. So that's how I did it. That's how I didn't waste $7,000 just on food. I didn't crunch the numbers on that, but I'm sure it was pretty low just with those tips. Very simple. Just eat for utility and keep that body fueled up. So that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed that topic. Let me know if you have any questions. I would love to answer any more questions if I didn't hit everything, or I don't know, just I need more reasons to make more videos. So let me know if you got any more questions there. Check out the links in the description. I think, well, Facebook's above. Yep, Facebook's above. So check out the links above me, which goes to my podcast, which goes to the YouTube channel for all the videos. And check them out. Once again, ask me a bunch of questions. I'll keep making these videos. So enjoy your Thursday, guys. And I'll talk soon. See you later.